Please welcome Katie. So, Katie, you started your career climbing that corporate ladder. Take us back to that time.
I did. Right out of college, I moved to Chicago, and I started a career in marketing and advertising, and that's what I thought I always wanted to do. And it just, after a few years, it just wasn't fulfilling. I didn't feel challenged. I didn't feel like I was growing as a person. So, even though I was making more money than I am now at 25, and now I'm 33, I decided that that's not how I wanted to live my life. So I went back to college and got my master's here at Roosevelt University, and I graduated in December 2010, and that was right at the time when the Chicago public school system was shutting down 80 schools.
Wow. So what'd you do?
Well, I decided to take the jump and move to Charleston, South Carolina. I got a job at a Title I school, which is low income, high poverty, and I struggled, to be honest. I mean, my first year was tough, and I prayed for, should I still be a teacher? I was wondering, am I really making a difference or not in these students' lives? So in February of last year, I did an assignment that was Love Is, and I'm always curious to see what 6-year-olds are going to think love means. And one student wrote one word on the piece of paper, and it wrote Blumquist, which is my last name. And I just thought, oh my gosh, in this child's life, I'm what he associates with love. And his name is Jawan, and he's raised by his grandmother and lives with his brother. And his grandma's a wonderful woman. I know her very well, but she didn't have the means to provide a lot of experiences that children normally get often in life. So on his birthday, I found out nothing was going to happen for it. So I took him out, and we did a bunch of fun activities, and then ended at Walmart, where I was going to buy him some toys for his birthday. He kept begging me for a bike, and I couldn't afford one. Like, I don't even have a bike. I just couldn't afford a bike for him, and it broke my heart to hear that he didn't own a bike and never had.
So you made a big decision in that moment. What was that?
I did. I started, thinking about that, and it really, touched me that he had wanted a bike so badly. And I started asking other kids in my class if they have bikes at home, and I noticed 5 kids in our school, 650 ride bikes to school, and they all live in the neighborhood. So I decided to do a GoFundMe to get all 650 students in our school a bike by Christmas, because I thought this could be a life-changing gift for them. Because
650 bikes.
Every kid deserves a bike,
Yeah.
It's a childhood privilege that we
But the first bike I got, my dad bought for me. It was used. But for me, oh man, you might as well just gave me the keys to a Cadillac.
It's a life changer.
Yeah, man, it was a game changer. I had a bike. It was a girl's bike, but and they teased me about it, and then that's when I learned how to fight. Katie, you've been raising money. How's it going?
It's been going really well. I started the GoFundMe campaign the day after Labor Day this year, and it's a $65,000 campaign, and we've raised about $17,000 already. It's been amazing with these generous donations and the community really rallying together to support the students in my school, but we still have a ways to go.
Yeah. Well, what you've done is really remarkable and touching,
Yep.
and we want to help you reach that goal in getting these bikes for these kids by Christmas. So that's why we reach out to our friends at D-Herbs, and they love what you're doing, so they're donating $10,000
Oh my gosh.
to help you reach your goal.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. $10,000?
That'd be great.
Oh my gosh.
That'd be great. In time for Christmas.
Oh, thank
And,
you so much. Oh my gosh.
They don't know this, but I'm a spokesperson for a company called Green Dot, and they've given me the green light to do certain things. So I think on behalf of Green Dot, I think we'll add another $10,000.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Thank you so much.
We're going to get them kids in bikes, man. Hey, for more information on how to donate to Katie's fund, I want everybody, I don't care what it is, $1, $2, it don't matter. Go over to SteveHarveyTV.com. Thanks, Katie. We'll be right back.
So this is the story of how the whole Steve Harvey thing came to be. So as you know, I was a teacher at Pepper Hill Elementary School. I taught first grade, and I had launched my GoFundMe. And the first big thing that kind of took it outside of just, my network of sharing on social media was TJ Maxx and Twitter partnered together, and they found 6 women around the country doing good things. And they highlighted each person's campaign for 2 weeks, where each person got their own 2 weeks. And I was very lucky enough to be one of them. So I had a huge recap call with the big, fancy New York marketing agency that led this whole thing. And literally 10 minutes beforehand, I get a call from the Steve Harvey producers. So the Steve Harvey producers said, we want you on an 8 o'clock flight tonight to Chicago, which at the time is where he taped his show. You're going to be on the show tomorrow, and then you'll fly back tomorrow. And it was just like, oh my gosh, okay. So I have this meeting I have to go into where I obviously want to give them my full attention because this was a huge deal of what they did for me. But in the back of my mind, I'm like freaking out. So I had to race home after this meeting from North Charleston to Mount Pleasant. And they said, you don't need to bring a single thing. We're going to do your hair. We're going to do your makeup. We're going to dress you. Just literally, I literally raced home, just grabbed a bag of pajamas and face wash and a toothbrush, and then had to get back in the car and race in rush hour back to North Charleston to be at the airport in time. I barely had time to even tell anybody this was happening because I've never moved so fast in my life. And I finally get to the airport with time to kill. I don't know, by the grace of God, I flew there, and I don't know, it was like a blackout of how fast I had to move. I get to the airport, I'm sitting at my gate, and I just finally had a second to decompress and really think about what was happening. And I was so excited. And like I said, I had barely been able to tell anyone. There was this group of businessmen getting ready to board, sitting in my same gate. And I was like, I have to tell you what's happening. I told them, I'm going to Steve Harvey. And I told them the whole story. And I was like, I just have to tell somebody. I'm so excited. And they laughed and were like, oh my God, that is so cool. But I just had to tell somebody. So I just picked this group of strangers and word vomited the whole story to them. So they had a car pick me up. They brought me to this really fancy hotel on Michigan Avenue. And it was crazy. So the next morning they had a car pick me up. They bring me to the studio. I had my own green room. They had, my name on the door. They had snacks. And of course, I'm not eating a bite of food because I'm so sick to my stomach and trying to be skinny until this is over. And so they had coffee and donuts and all these snacks. I had my own producer who's my go-to person, and they could not have been friendlier. I mean, they literally treated me like I was some important celebrity guest. I couldn't believe with just the amount of kindness these people, they actually acted excited to talk to me and that I was there. And it was just the most special thing on the planet. So, this producer was my only go-to. I had no friend or someone there just to look at, this is happening. I can't believe this is happening. So he kind of filled that role for me very kindly and just act. It's this is their job every day. They do this with people, celebrities, not celebrities, but they never minimize the excitement that I was feeling, which I just thought was really nice. And then when I came out on stage, so on that show, I was already seated in the seat when the segment starts. They don't announce me and have me walk out live. So as I walk out, it looked like an audience just full of mom, your mom. They all were just oh, just the sweetest, most comforting, facial expressions, and just kind of nodding and smiling and just so comforting. It was just very unexpected. So as you saw in the segment, Steve Harvey initially donated $10,000, which is what the big check said, which is a predetermined, thing okay, this girl's going to come on. She's doing a nice thing. We'll donate $10,000 to her, which I didn't know was going to happen. But then you hear him say, they don't know I'm going to do this, but he has other sponsors where he can choose to give more money. That's when he doubled it. And I remember looking past him at all the producers now scrambling because that's a whole new realm of paperwork and things they had to fill out. And I remember chaos that was going on backstage as he was saying this to me. And, it really touched him because Steve Harvey did grow up in poverty. As he said, he got his first bike, which was a pink girl's bike when he was 13. And he didn't realize really what my GoFundMe was about until he interviewed me. And I just thought that was such a kind, generous thing that he did. So obviously not only for Going Places was this life-changing, because after this is when my GoFundMe went truly viral. Like my phone would ping every time there was a donation made through GoFundMe, and it was like ping, ping, a constant. People would comment that, this one really sticks out. She said, I, for some reason, couldn't sleep. I was up last night, turned on the TV at 3 a.m. and the Steve Harvey show was on, and I saw your story. She goes, I've never in my life felt compelled to donate to, a guest I've seen one of these shows, but I felt compelled to donate to yours. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like that. It was just all these stories of things like that, people donating because it had really it connected with them, it affected them, our mission. So obviously it was life-changing for Going Places. We owe everything to the Steve Harvey show. But for myself personally, it was such a cool, core memory that I made and experience that I got to go through too.